Hi there, welcome to the Happy Chicken Coop YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today. Today, we're going to be talking about how to tell how old your chickens are. Before I get into that, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, make sure you subscribe to the website, happychickencoop.com. If you subscribe using the link in the description below, you'll receive a free ebook on the 10 best egg-laying chicken breeds. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Most people know the approximate age of their birds when they first get them, but how do you know their age if you are given some birds or rescue some? Knowing the age of your chickens is crucial. Without it, it isn't easy to know their egg laying ability, what to feed them, and what their general health should be. Aging a chicken is obviously not an exact science, and some breeds are exceptions to the normal rules, so the best you can do is get an approximation. So most backyard chickens live to an average of 6 to 8 years, but there are exceptions. A hen that is kept as a pet is likely to live longer than her outside foraging sister. There are several clues to be found on close inspection of your birds. We'll look at your chickens through its lifetime and give you the ability to date your chicken with a good amount of confidence. These tips will help you make a reasonable guesstimate of the age of your chickens. It'll also help you tell the difference between pullets and cockerels before they crow. So out of the egg, this is the first stage of life. Initially, they don't look at all attractive, more like semi-drowned blobs. After several hours in the incubator or under mama, they dry to a fuzzy, fluffy little chick, and it turns into that cute little fuzzball that we all adore. Around 6 to 8 days old, the chick will start to grow its first feathers. This gives it the appearance of a terrible haircut. The fuzz sticks out at the angles, and feathers are incomplete at this stage. The chick will start to have a mini molt anywhere from 6 to 12 weeks, when its first full set of feathers will grow in. It's around this time that you can begin to spot the difference between hens and cockerels. By this time, you'll notice which chicks seem more assertive, less fearful, and seems to stand more upright. Keep an eye on this chick. It may be a boy. Also notice the comb on your chicks. Boys tend to start growing their combs more than the girls, and their feet and legs tend to be sturdier. The feather difference is the giveaway though. As the feathers of the mini molt start to come in, you'll start to see the difference between them. Cockerels tend to have a pointed hackle feathers around the neck, and hens' feathers will be more rounded. Saddle feathers on a rooster grow longer and more pointed than a pullet. If you're not sure where to look for saddle feathers, think of where you would place a saddle on the bird. Sickle feathers, these are long, elegantly arching tail feathers that roosters have. Hens have basic, unremarkable tail feathers. So now you know the difference in feathering. An unscrupulous seller won't be able to offload roosters onto you. Please keep in mind that some breeds develop quicker than others, so that timeline will change slightly with the breed. For example, I can tell the sex of my Barbu Duclis by 6 weeks or so, but I cannot see the difference in my Bredis hens. So how old is my pullet? A pullet is a hen that has not yet come into lay. The average age when a pullet starts to lay is about 20 weeks. Some sex-linked birds start to lay at 16 weeks, while Orpingtons can go to 28 weeks. Pullets continue to put on body mass between 12 and 20 weeks. If the pullet is about the size of an adult hen, she is near the 20-week mark. Now let's talk about young pullets. Young pullets and roosters look and act like awkward teenagers. They aren't beautiful at this stage and are usually a bit pushy. Still, they are soon reminded of their lower status by the older ladies. They will soon blossom into fine-looking hens and roosters and will find their place in the flock. As they age, their combs become fuller, more developed, fleshy, and a more vibrant red, as do the wattles. There are some breeds out there that don't have noticeable combs and small wattles. The Breda fowl, for instance, it's a bit trickier to age them, but you can do it with careful observation and practice. If you are buying pullets, make sure they're in good health. They should look robust, be active, eyes should be bright and alert, and the feathers should have a glossy sheen to them. If the bird looks nothing like this, don't buy it. Once the pullet starts to lay, she becomes a hen. A young hen will lay smaller eggs at the beginning of her laying career. They can also be soft-shelled, misshapen, and infrequent. Once her egg-laying machinery is kicked into full throttle, the eggs will become larger and she will lay 4 to 5 eggs a week on average. Another way to tell the difference between a pullet and hen is by checking the width between the pubic or pelvic bones. You should be able to feel these bones on either side of the vent. With a pullet, the finger width between these two bones would be about 2 finger breadth. In a laying hen, the bones are more distant, and you should be able to fit 3 or 4 finger breadths between them. Now, let's talk about how old is my hen. If you're new to chickens, this may seem like an impossible question to answer. After all, they don't come with birth certificates. Personally, I keep a record of my chickens' ages in with their health records so that I can see at a glance how old, where did I buy, and so on. However, it's possible to eyeball a bird and give an approximate age visually. If the bird has not yet had her first full molt, she can be anywhere from 12 to around 18 months. The first full molt is around 15 to 18 months old. She will not molt until she is past the 12-month mark. If your coop looks like an explosion in a pillar factory, they are molting. The speed which they finish the molt and grow new feathers is variable. It's said that good layers will molt and refeather rapidly. The molt can last anywhere from 2 to 4 months. Now let's talk about young birds. Young birds tend to look vibrant and full of life. The feathers have a glossy sheen to them, and the comb and wattles are fully red, eyes bright and curious, shank and feet have a good solid color. They always seem to have lots of energy and spirit, and they want to explore anything and everything to the point to where they seem oblivious to danger sometimes. Now let's talk about older hens. An older hen is a bit more sedate and more like a grandmother than a teenager. She will come running for food, happily remind the younger girls who is boss. A quick peck to the head will deter most of the younger hens. She will have perfected the stink eye look. This will look like she'll give you the note of displeasure. It's as good as saying, just what do you think you're doing? Her feathers will have lost a little of the gloss of younger girls, but she should still look to be in good condition. The feathers lose some of their tightness over the years. This means they're not as closely linked together as they are in younger birds. This gives us a slightly disheveled look to some hens. Now, as far as the combs will still be red, but have a slightly different texture. The comb will likely have a few small scars from being pecked by her sisters. The lower status hens may even have some fingers missing from the comb. A rooster's comb can almost be dubbed if he has been fighting for dominance. Dubbing is the removal of a comb and wattle, occasionally earlobes. This practice is slowly dying out, thankfully. The feet and legs of older birds tend to thicken and the scales can be slightly raised. The leg coloring will also look faded and you may find spurs. If your hen has spurs, she is not a youngster. Generally, they grow spurs around 3 years of age and they grow in length over time, so long spurs equal an older bird. Other birds can also suffer from a type of viral arthritis that causes tendinitis, causing them to move stiffly as much as human with bad arthritis. You will notice they walk a bit more carefully, go a bit slower, and generally avoid exerting themselves unless good cause arises. To help the older hens roost at night, try placing some lower perches in the coop. You can also rub a salve made of plantain into the legs. Plantain is an herb that is considered antiseptic, reduces inflammation, is also a pain reliever. I use it not only on my chickens, I also make a hand cream for myself. And make sure you record your flock. As you deeply fall in love with raising chickens, you'll notice that your yearly additions and new hashes start to blend. After a while, it's hard to remember who's who and who's 2 years old and who is approaching retirement. If you're planning on keeping chickens for a long time, it's worth investing in a journal where you can do some record keeping. We use colored leg bands to keep track of who is who amongst the flock. Then we mark down the flock and each chicken with their hatch day. After a while, it becomes evident that record keeping is extremely useful for health records, fertility, and breeding. Hands down, the best way to tell how old your chickens are is to start keeping track of them on hatch day and as they develop and grow. As a bonus, record keeping also allows you to name each of your chickens because, well, who doesn't name their chickens and want to keep track of each of them? So to summarize, you can generally get a pretty good feel for the bird's general age when you look at the chicken. As you uncover the clues discussed, they will help confirm or not your thoughts on the general age. There's always exceptions to every rule, but you'll fairly get a good idea of your chicken's age if you follow the tips. Keeping the records of development, characteristics, ages, and so on will help you remember for future use and serve as a health record. Do you have any tips for us or for our audience for identifying the age of your chickens? Let us know in the comments below. That's going to do it for us here at the Happy Chicken Coop. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. If you find our content interesting, if you learned something new, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. With that, I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.